Welcome to Active Love Adoptions podcast. I am your host, Mackenzie Love. And today I have Heidi and Jessica as co-hosts.
Hello.
Hello.
As she's taking notes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got to.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And we have probably one of my favorite guests today, Elijah. He and I go back to high school at Orem High.
We do.
Yes. And I forced him to come on today.
Yep. Brutal.
Whatever.
force.
You're really excited to be here. I know it.
I'm very excited and very happy to be here.
Good.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're a really good actor.
He is. I've seen his videos.
Oh,
What?
Oh, yeah. His videos are awesome.
Oh, they're amazing.
it's all dumb stuff.
Oh, dumb
stuff. But thank you.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you say dumb or gum?
Dumb.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
you
I
did.
thought he said gum. At
Okay,
first,
I am
too.
chewing gum though. Yes. and thank you again for this piece of gum.
You are welcome.
Oh, I should have
Fine.
borrowed one from you too.
Hey, I have one.
It's okay. I'll chomp the entire time because that's just what I do. So Elijah, you are Isaac's son.
I am.
And Isaac, what's his title at the agency? Is he director? Is that what he
Yeah, I think so. Director of Operations.
Yeah. So Isaac is the director of operations. And we need to get him on. So Elijah's going to go tell him how much fun he had today.
Yep.
So he will come on this podcast.
We'll get him.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll get him. Okay. Well, Elijah, let's start off with, were you adopted through Active Love?
No, actually.
You weren't. Okay.
Yeah, I was adopted through LDS Social Services
Okay.
when that was still taking
thing.
place. And I think that my dad was kind of starting out with Active Love, I mean, shortly after my adoption process. So
Okay.
that was like kind of like, I mean, I'm not exactly sure, I mean, the sequence of things, but it was around all that was taking place at the same time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he worked for us part-time initially in the beginning.
Okay.
So, and that's probably when he started, was when you were younger.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Isaac has got kids through the agency.
Yeah. I think I was the only one. Through
Okay.
LDS
Are you the
Social
oldest?
Services. Of the adopted children in my family, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I didn't
How many
know
kids are in your family?
Well,
He has to stop and count.
yeah,
that. Me too.
That's
It's
like-
fine.
That's like a hard question.
I know. Yeah,
Same.
I know. It's like a
Complicated.
tough
He's like, well, is it
question
like the
because,
ones I like or?
Yeah, no. That's what it is actually. So So just so you know, I'm excluding some. But I have three older sisters: Trina, Crystal, and Norma, and those are my parents, Isaac and Claudia's biological children.
Okay.
And then I'm the first of the adopted children. There's me, and I have two younger brothers, Benjamin and Michael, and then a younger sister, Madison.
Okay.
So-
Awesome. I had no idea. That's really cool.
He tells a story about Madison all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
On orientation, because we didn't have a family for Madison.
Yeah.
And
And
you
Madison
guys-
was so special.
Yeah, and you guys took her in.
It's so special.
Yeah.
Mm.
Their family took her in and like was foster care parents for a while.
Yeah.
And Isaac's like, I think we need to discuss about placing her somewhere else so we don't get attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by that time, it was too late.
Yeah.
Your mom and your sisters all left the room crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like that with me. It was a little different. They were just like,
Tell us
yeah,
about it,
okay, we
Elijah.
can take him.
every
Yeah.
story's different,
Right,
but just
uh-huh.
as special.
Right.
Yes. I like
Right.
that.
I'm sure lots of tears were shed for you as well.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Right.
I'm sure they were very
Yes.
excited to have you.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm sure as well.
You're hesitating. Is there more to that?
No.
No.
there's not.
No.
It's like
there's
we're
not.
we're
Not
leaving
at
it
all.
right there.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
moving on.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's
Next
roll.
question.
Next. You got to help me out here. So,
Okay.
so let's see. So they found your parents through LDS services.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to talk about your birth mom and birth dad?
From what I know about them, and it's like, it's interesting because it's like, I have different like different perspectives of like their story, you know, their story, like, how it comes out of the mouth of like, Isaac, my dad, and Claudia, my mom and dad, and like kind of what was going on. And then like, my birth mom's side, and like then my birth father, who I've only spoken to like briefly, like his side of it that I was able to get.
Yeah.
And so like, anyway, but they met in Atlanta, Georgia. That's like where like I was born, and they were at like they were coworkers from what I understand, and that's how they had their relationship. And the timing of it and kind of the situation just wasn't like a good one, a strong one, or like a promising one. And and that's kind of in a nutshell, like why I ended up being placed for adoption. So but Atlanta, Georgia, like Decatur technically is like where I was born.
I know exactly where that is.
So do I.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
My husband's from Georgia.
Very cool.
So
Very cool.
in
Yeah.
all
know
those little
that?
towns. Well, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
a
it's
cool
not
place.
about me, so we can talk
No,
about
I
it
know.
later.
No,
I love the
I
South.
like it there. I've been back a few times.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was in Mississippi. My stepdad's in the Air Force, so I was there
Cool. Oh, yeah.
up until I met you, actually. I was in Mississippi, and then I went to Orem High like the last 6 months of our senior year.
Yeah. No, I remember I was like, you went to high school together. I'm like, yeah, we went to high school together for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was literally.
But
2
it was
seconds.
great.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, everyone's like,
You made a lasting impression.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I don't know if it was good though.
It was good. Everybody liked you. Everyone's like, she's cool. Like, yeah, like, you seem like you fit in with everybody. And also people seem like they kind of knew you before too, because didn't you live in Utah? Because you moved around a lot.
I did. Yeah. So everyone that I went to elementary school was
Okay.
still there.
Okay,
So that's
interesting. Yeah. I was like, how is she fitting in so well?
Like, how does she have all these friends?
Like, do you know how hard I worked to like make all these friends?
Whatever, Elijah. Everyone loves you.
Because I worked hard.
No, you did not have
I
to
was
work
like,
hard.
I have to try hard to make everyone love me,
No.
And that's what I did.
That is a huge like.
I do
know
not buy
Elijah
that
would
at
walk into
all.
school with his big smile, and
Yeah.
everyone would be like,
Gravitate.
Elijah. It's like
Yeah.
High School Musical, and then you see Elijah just like dancing
It's-
everywhere.
no, they were like, that's
And
the
singing.
adopted kid,
And
and we
singing.
feel bad for him.
Oh
so
my
we need to.
God. No, you weren't.
Stop
Oh my
it.
God.
I'm only joking.
I did not
That's
even know
true.
you were adopted.
I know you didn't.
I'm a really crappy stalker.
Yeah, you really are.
I
Yeah,
really
you did.
am.
Yeah,
I know.
your research. I don't know.
Yeah, I
about
know.
it.
Oh
I can see why this is your last day.
I know. I was just gonna say that. You beat me to it. No, really though. You are. Everyone loves you. Just the way it is.
I love everyone. So
Yes.
everyone.
That's.
I mean, we became best friends like 5 minutes after
I know.
you walked
He's
in the
super
studio.
easy to
So I
get
mean,
along
like,
with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you've told me all your dark
Friends-
secrets.
friends forever.
Like, yeah, totally.
BFFs.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you went back and did a documentary, right?
I did. Yeah.
And you, oh my gosh, I can't talk today. You
It's okay.
You recorded the entire process.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So, I think it's probably like 8 years ago now.
Has it
7
been
or
that
8 years.
long?
Like it's coming. It's gonna be 8 years pretty soon. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
been some
gosh.
time. I think now. I mean, that I started making this documentary.
Yeah.
It's like because I had met my birth mom when I was 18 years old. Kind of like when we became friends. High school graduation, I invited her, and I mean,
Awesome.
and that's the first time we had met. And then we kind of like we've maintained kind of a relationship, like off and on. You know what I mean? We talk when we can, and sometimes life just gets busy. For
Sure.
one of us. But like with him, it was like it's one of those things where
He's a guy.
yeah, I guess
A different perspective. And
Yeah.
yeah. And
I don't mean that in a negative sense. I just mean,
right. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
just different.
he's the person who's like biological father, and I'm like, I have nothing as far as like his anything. I mean, I have no real concept of like this dude still,
Yeah.
And so I think me being a person like who's always been like kind of like even since like a kid, like kind of like an artist, like to like write things or make things,
yeah.
or like whatever.
You're very talented.
I felt like it would be cool to like make a documentary about it, like to like go and like film what it would be like if I were to like and I think because I like gone to church and like served a mission. I'd knocked on doors like of strangers and talked about like vulnerable things, you know, like from the like I just that's kind of like something that I felt like I had done a lot of, and the idea of just showing up at his door didn't intimidate me, I feel like, as much because I'd done that for so long. So I guess that's kind of how the idea was like born, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I did that, and the whole process was really long. I mean, the story was good. The documentary ended up really, really good too. But yeah, what obviously the most important part was actually meeting him, which ended up, you know, being ultimately a really good experience, you know, for me. Like definitely one that it's hard to predict what it's going to be like or what it's going to feel like. I mean, I couldn't predict what the outcome would have been, but I'm glad that I did. The documentary right now, it's not anywhere right now. Like I've kind of like,
I was looking for it.
I've kind of like taken it off of all platforms just because a lot has.
Was it on YouTube though for a period of time?
It was on YouTube for a period of time.
I think I saw it.
sure
You had.
Yeah, it was on Amazon Prime for a period of time. It's just since then, since then so much has changed since then. I mean, where like it's even now at that period of time, like comparing it to what all these relationships and with my biological parents and things are now, it's just it seems like so different now than it was back then. And because of that, I'm like, okay, let's take this down, because that's not really the story where it was at then isn't the story now.
Yeah.
So, and plus I didn't get to the point where I was able to like, fund the film well enough to get it into like mass like festival like circuit to get a lot of people. I mean, it was like my first time ever making a movie, and I was 23, 24, 23, 24, just kind of running by the, you know, just doing what like, just kind of messing up and making this messy thing, but putting my heart into it, you know, no, I don't regret it in any way. It's just, but right now it's just like not available, and maybe I'm thinking that at some point there'll probably be a version 2 of it. You know? But like
a follow up.
Exactly, like a follow up to it, and so that's kind of the intention for that.
So then, if that's ready, then you can put the other one back out there.
Exactly, and so taking taking that off of social media and other things just to focus on other kinds of stuff, you know, artistically, you know. Yeah.
I totally get that. And I think like as you evolve as an artist too, there are certain things where you're like, oh, I don't want to share that part of my life, or I don't want to, you know, be associated just with this.
Right.
And I think I can relate to that too. Like as a birth mom, I feel like the relationship between me and my birth son is ever changing. Yeah. And that's like, I even look back at my journals and like what I wrote, I'm like, what? That's not how I remember it. Isn't it funny? Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I think now I have a whole different perspective on adoption and my entire experience and the relationship between, you know, the adoptive parents and obviously Ryan and I are totally different. Yeah. And like looking back at those almost make me like angry at Ryan, you know, like we've had to work through our stuff because there are things that, you know, that happened that weren't okay. And it was a really hard time for both of us. And we were both so young. Yeah. I thought he was like all mature. He was like 3 years older than me. I'm like, he was only 21 years old.
I think so.
He had no idea.
Is women mature faster than men. So really, you were on the same level, probably.
I mean, basically.
I mean, honestly. Yeah. But it's a good thing you wrote all that down so you could see how you were feeling. Yeah. And time and everything changes.
Yeah, life's long and people change. We change so much, like a lot in ways that we don't even anticipate.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just
I always think about that. I'm like, if I were to see myself like 5 years ago now, I'd be like, what the hell? Yeah. How? What? Yeah. I was very religious. I was very like, I was living a certain life, and all of a sudden it was just like, whoo, totally different. Yep. You know, 180. Yeah. But I don't know. It's kind of like an awakening. Like you just like all of a sudden you're not going through the motions, and you wake up and you're like intentionally making decisions for your life. Yeah. And intentionally, you know, bringing people into your life that better you. And so I think it's the same with adoption. It's just an never ending.
Yeah.
It's
roller
always
coaster.
that changes, and the relationships change and grow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because of the bond and the time that you have.
And life is short, but also life is long.
It's really long. Yeah.
It is.
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Well, I really enjoyed that documentary.
Oh, thank you for watching that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching that.
Yeah. And I
We'll look forward to the second.
Right. Yeah. Me too.
yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens.
If it happens.
Right. Yeah.
So do you have a relationship with your birth dad right now?
Not right now. And that doesn't really bother me. Like even right now with my birth mom, it's like I think that now that like I'm in my 30s, like the sentiment from my birth parents is like, hey, gave you up for adoption.
Yeah.
Stay adopted. You know what I mean?
Stay adopted.
Like that's and so it's all good. Like
No, I'm glad you're saying that, because on the last podcast I just listened to, she wants to be an advocate for people who are adopted.
Yeah.
And she wants to be able to get into the birth certificate with the birth parent's name, last name, and everything, so you can know. And so we went on this discussion of why a birth mom wouldn't. I go, there still are birth moms that don't want to be found.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how much the adoptive child wants to know it, it goes both ways, I think. So do we give up one's privacy because the other one wants it?
Right.
Well, but I also wonder too, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I wonder sometimes, like, I had moments, because I'm a birth mom too, so I've had moments where I'm like, I don't know if I want him to find me. And it was mostly because I didn't like where I was in my life. And I didn't want to. I had this fear of disappointing him, that I'm like, look, I know that you have this great life, but like finding me, is that going to be a disappointment to you? And it was more about, and I think and I can't obviously speak for all birth moms, obviously. But sometimes I wonder if that's the case too. It's like they know deep down inside, like, I don't want them to be a part of this because my part is messy.
Yeah. It's Jessica, right?
Yes.
What you said is perfect as far as like an answer for my birth dad goes.
Yeah.
Because going back to the whole thing where I'm exactly like, I like haven't spoken with him that much, but what the reason why I haven't yet, or I haven't talked to him a whole lot, it's like, do I have an intention of perhaps, speaking with him more in the future? Yes, because when I met him in that moment, I could tell that he was in a period of his life like that.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I don't want you to meet me like this. But he was so gracious to me in that period of time, though. He still talked with me. He allowed me to film it. You know what I mean? Like, and was cool, and like wasn't like, I mean, for the most part, like it was. So that's the thing. I'm like, ultimately, he's a nice guy, and like it was, and I'm glad that like, he was nice, and even though I could tell that he didn't want to be like filmed or made like the subject of this film right now, he was still very like, it's okay, man, and forgiving of me in that moment, and so it's like. We don't speak now, but we have each other's numbers, you know what I mean? And it's like, he's living his own life and doing his own thing. I'm not mad or like wanting to like never talk to him again, So it's just is what it is. And it's fine.
I know. And do you think I've talked to my birth son about this too, because I've asked him like, hey, are you interested in meeting your birth father? Because we've had a relationship since he was 15. Me and my birth son.
Yeah.
And he was like, like not really, like I'm content with like my father now. And my advice to him, and I don't know if this is even good advice, honestly, but it was like, unless they can add something to your life, add some value to you as a person and have good insight to you, then it's not the right time. And that's okay. Because everyone grows and matures at such different, I mean, even if you're in your 40s, you're not the same as you are in your 30s. I'm not going to be the same when I'm 50. And so sometimes it's like, if they can't add value, and it might sound selfish, but like if they can't add value to you as a person and who you want to be, then it totally makes sense why you're like, I don't need that relationship in my life because I'm content with me right now.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's, and like my opinion is like along the same line as that. I mean, where it's like adding value. I mean, that's the thing. It might get to a point where, and it kind of did in my life. I'm like, I value knowing what like my facial hair would look like, or like what my, you know what I mean? Like it's like, like those things
like
that you
the
like
aesthetic.
Exactly. I mean, that adds value to my life now at this point. You know what I mean? And so it's like, that's the thing. But that's like kind of like small, you know what I mean? And that's kind of one of the reasons why I decided, one of those like curiosity things, and the things I wanted to check off the box when I dug him up. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so it's like, but yeah, no, I do agree with that. It's like until you feel like it's actually gonna help you to find yourself as a person or better yourself as a person, then, you know, if it's only gonna hurt you, because that's not what you want. You don't want it to hurt you, because it could potentially be very hurtful. I mean, I think, and there were like little bits and parts, because in that instance or that moment where I did meet him, that felt like kind of hurtful or like sensitive or whatever, you know what I mean? So you have to keep in mind, like, you're potentially taking on both when you like dig into that kind of stuff.
Totally. Like picking up both ends of the stick. You can't have one without the other. You're not just going to find all this joy with no hurt and vice versa. Like exactly. Especially in something like this.
Exactly. So kind of going back to what you said, Jessica, like the value that like you're hoping to like gain from it, like, is it worth the potential, like hurt that you could also feel from it, you know? And luckily for me, I would say like it's more on the like positive side.
And that's amazing. That's that's so beautiful to hear that it was such a positive experience. Yeah.
I mean, like, it wasn't like, again, like, we're not like buddy, like, it's not like I showed up on his door and like, hey, let's go on a 7-day backpacking trip. Now, you and me, like, good to see you. Yeah, you know, I actually wish I could go back again and do that, you know, instead, but I didn't, and it's fine. But no, I am, but yeah, no, but it's still ultimately positive. Yeah, the outcome.
I love it.
You took the positive out of it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's probably because you're a positive person.
Yeah.
And
thanks. Thanks.
Just speaking facts.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Dropping hard.
I'm just running through that in my mind. I'm like, is that a fact? Am I a positive person? I don't know.
You come across as a positive person.
Well, good. I'm glad. There we go.
Your energy is really good.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah. Good.
You're a deep thinker, obviously, because I can.
Sometimes too deep. It's like I thought too deep about that.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. You remind me a lot of my son Christopher. So
really?
Yeah,
Very
I keep
cool.
looking at you, going, "Oh, he looks a little bit like him."
And,
but he's a very deep thinker too. He'll just go on these tangents, and I'm like, "Okay, my brain hurts." But
you're like, "I'm sorry, I'm not there yet."
No.
I think about this for a few days and get back to you.
It was a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Off to be Christopher. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You guys might end up being really good friends.
Yeah.
Or be stuck in the same room for like hours thinking about stuff together.
Right,
and be
exactly.
Like, Bro, I never thought about that.
Well,
just think about the conversation.
Exactly, the
though.
conversation.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because he would bring something up, and I'm sure you could go right along with him, and you guys would just be like, "Okay."
Of course, let me know when he comes on.
I gotta try to get him on.
That's how me and Ryan are. We sit in our hot tub. It's a time machine.
Yeah.
It's just we understand.
Where's it taking you?
I know. Anywhere good.
To a good time?
I don't know why I opened up myself to that. Okay, so I'm going backwards. I said in high school I didn't even know you were adopted. Okay. To me, I didn't even know you were adopted.
Okay.
With that said, do you think by being adopted that people knew, like it was something that was a big deal? Does that make sense?
Well,
was it something that affected you?
Well, I mean, it's like the adoption part was like almost like secondary to the part that where I was like the only kid that had dark skin like around. You know what I mean? So it's like and a lot of time too where I grew up, I mean in Utah, it's a common assumption that like any kid who's black or like has, you know, dark skin is adopted anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, you must be adopted. You know
It does happen here.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Like-
I mean, that's in my case, that's me. So.
And I moved all over the United States, and so now being here for like the last 10 years, I totally see
But
that.
specifically, exactly.
But, like,
specifically Utah, when it
Utah
comes to
has
that.
a huge number.
Specifically Utah. I've
we
noticed
have a
like
huge
it's
number.
yeah.
Yeah.
I totally I agree with you.
So
yeah.
so I mean, like, so the race thing was always kind of like in my mind, or the forefront of my mind, and then also like they probably think that I'm adopted because of that. You know, like was another thought that was always kind of going through my mind. I didn't think that like the adoption detail was, I don't know, like
Pertinent.
yeah, as pertinent as like the race thing. I mean, I knew other kids around me that were adopted as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they were kids that were like adopted that were like, yeah. I mean, some were Caucasian, some were not. I mean, like yeah. But anyway, yeah. But that's what I would say. I would say that it wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't known as like the kid who was adopted. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I was known as like the
Go ahead and say it.
the first Black student body president.
You were not the first, but I forgot you were the student
Orem
body
High.
president.
I was the first Black student body president in Orem
Are
High
you
School.
serious?
Yeah.
I did
believe
not
it.
know that.
Yeah, well, they made a big deal about it because Barack Obama had just gotten elected,
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
and so they like,
And here you are, student body president, and you're like, nobody liked me.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I know. No, that's what I'm saying. Like he
No,
was seriously
no,
the
I'm
most
saying- I'm saying-
popular
I'm
kid
saying
in
people
school.
work really
So
hard.
the fact
You had to work
I'm
really
saying people
hard.
liked
Yes.
me, but I had to try. I was a try hard at it.
No,
He
you were
said that
not.
he
I was a
worked
try
really
hard
for
at it,
that.
big time.
Okay, wait. So
I really cared that people liked me.
Well, I think most high
You're a
school
people
students,
pleaser.
though.
Yeah.
You wanted people to.
Yeah, back then for sure. Yeah.
I think as we get older,
it just
we
came
start to
naturally
get
for
that.
you. I like to me.
People would
It's
gravitate.
like everyone
Yeah.
would gravitate to you and Ethan. I actually have a picture of the three of us.
Oh, good.
I know.
need to see
I'll
that.
put it in here.
That's so great. I need to see that. Every
but-
memory of that.
I
That sounds
had
great.
no idea that you were the first Black president. Or am I? Did that upset you?
I
or
can
did you
totally
like
believe
it?
No,
Okay,
I didn't
because you
care.
said that they made it a big deal.
They
I'm
made
just
it.
saying,
Yeah,
like,
they
was
made it
that-
a big deal. And when they did,
because
I
of
was
his
like,
race.
I know, but do you think
Yeah.
that took
Right.
away? Like, did that upset you?
No,
That's
it
what
didn't.
I'm saying.
It didn't
Okay.
upset me. I'm like it is
It's
was
true.
true. Yeah, it's
like
true.
It is
Yeah.
a fact. I am.
This is
I
true.
am. You know.
Well,
Can't argue with them.
Yeah.
My
You know?
mom and my stepdad both went to Orem High too,
Oh,
and
very
all
cool.
of my aunts and uncles. So
Very cool.
that's really cool.
Orem High is a good place.
It is. I loved Orem High.
It's a good school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
All my family's Alta.
Alta.
Yeah. All my kids, my husband and I,
I have a lot of friends from Alta too.
my
all
husband's
skiers?
siblings.
Skiers.
You know, when I was young, I did ski
Okay.
without poles and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't ski. My husband never learned to ski though,
Oh,
and
really?
my kids don't know how to ski.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, one of them did, but she popped her ACL and had to have it replaced.
Oh,
once.
okay. Yeah. No. Then.
She doesn't do any of that.
No. That's terrible.
So,
I'm-
but, yeah. Just because we go to Alta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just assumed.
Yeah.
We
I know
ski
that
at
goes
Alta.
Alta skis. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just because of the skis. Well, that's the thing is that we all live in Utah. Wouldn't that technically everyone ski?
I guess so too. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, honestly,
I don't know.
when
Northern
people
Utah.
find out you're from Utah, they're always like, "Oh, do you love going skiing?"
I used to throw the biggest tantrums. My dad tried to teach me to ski, and I was like, I hate it. Don't make me
See,
go.
I loved it,
And now
I
I'm
did
sure I would love
but-
it.
I grew up in Southern California, and I grew up skiing.
Really?
We would go to Mammoth in California
yeah.
and ski every year.
Yeah.
And like I have not been skiing one time since I've lived here for 20
Right?
years.
Well,
That's so funny.
I think
Because
it's
also
weird.
it's expensive, and I
It's
wasn't
very
paying
expensive.
for it in high
That's
school, and I was
it,
like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, how much
It's
is
next.
it?
Yeah. It's
It
a
is.
really expensive hobby. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. I'm like, I can't afford it.
Like the lift
Yeah.
tickets,
and
the
then
ski
you
rentals,
have
like
to
all
get
the
a-
things.
Yeah, everything.
All of it.
I know my
Yeah.
kids are like, please. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
find another hobby,
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get older and you can pay for it yourself.
get a job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do that.
But it is fun,
Someday
right?
I'll start snowboarding.
Can you
again.
ski? Oh, you snowboard.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just
I had a
'cause
sister that picked that up.
Yeah.
So she liked that better.
It's fun. It's just as expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
if not more sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
for sure. So you were adopted as a newborn, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I I just want to double check that. And it was a closed adoption?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did you find them?
Oh, how did I find them? So...
Because social media wasn't huge.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
You know?
It was through, I mean, just I think the LDS church being like a big church, but also a small church at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like, I was in the same ward as one of the children of the lady who worked for LDS Social Services.
Okay.
Who like essentially brought me from Atlanta to Utah, you know, like so.
Which
so,
I'm curious about anyway, because LDS, you have to wait for the birth mom to walk into the base of that LDS site in order to adopt. So yours being out of state and your parents getting you, to me, is foreign in itself.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure,
how that even works.
Yeah, of how that process even.
Yeah. I'm curious.
This is where we need my dad here.
Yes, I'll have to ask him
be
that.
here to straighten that out. Yeah,
I'm curious.
He's very smart.
Yeah, because when I went to adopt, they go by where you live.
Okay.
And so you would have to go to the special one, that specific one for your area, and you have to wait for the birth mom to walk into that one in order to get placed.
Okay.
So people in big cities.
So she had to come to Utah, basically?
She would have had to go to Utah and into that sandy location.
Like even like she couldn't go into like an Atlanta office.
No.
like an LDS Atlanta office, but she could only place in Atlanta.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So like they had to come
People in
here.
that
So
area.
somehow I got from Atlanta to Salt Lake.
It's so I
Story
got
time
over.
suspect.
I'm not sure how it happened, but yeah, exactly.
It's all about who you know.
Right,
It's true.
right.
I mean, I came from
So
California to LDS Family Services, but I came here because the birth father's rights are terminated once the birth mother signs.
Okay.
In
Utah.
Okay.
And so
And you don't
I
wanna
knew
deal
the
with
birth
that.
father wasn't going to sign.
Maybe that's what happens.
Okay.
Because that sounds more like
Yeah.
That's not true though.
That it's not true?
No.
What?
Wait, what?
Oh.
Okay.
We have to publish. So
Oh, well, you
there's
have to let
there's a
them
30
know.
day. Yes, there's a 30-day.
Like
but
public-
we can do it before the birth of the baby. We just have to say a baby was conceived in this area around this time. If you think you're the father, contact us. It gets published in the paper and stuff. And so if we go without having anyone say, yes, this could be for 30 days, then you can terminate because it's considered like abandonment.
Abandonment.
Basically.
Interesting.
But I know those weird things.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I would imagine that my birth mom would do what it took to meet it, so that she was the one who had control of the situation. Yeah.
For sure.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Sounds like a badass.
it's amazing that you actually, even through LDS, that you were able to get her information in order to find her, because they're very closed. And
Yeah.
that's really mostly what they worked doing, especially your time frame.
Yeah.
Do they not ask like the birth mothers if they would like to be found? Because I feel like there was some question that was like, if your child wants to find you, are we okay?
Well, you
to
would
give
know better
information?
because you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's been 21 years. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like there was a question like, do you want to be, if your child when they're 18 wants to be found, like, do you want us to give
so
information?
maybe, and saying I have no idea because
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean,
Maybe
one of
edit
the
that
reasons
out,
I
'cause I don't
didn't
know.
go through LDS services was because they told me I had to have
a close.
a close. I didn't have an option.
Yeah.
And I had not done research or anything at that point. And I just was like, I don't want that to be my only option right now.
Really? Because I placed before you, right?
Yes.
And they said like mine was semi-open. So it's like I couldn't know last
Really?
names, but like I could know first names. And technically like I knew all of,
That's so interesting.
but it could have been maybe the
Could have been
birth
the
family?
it could have been
No?
just the social worker I talked to.
That
said
could have been.
because
maybe
I feel
she
like there's
pushed,
mixed
maybe,
information.
yeah. Maybe they pushed, she would push, or he. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a
I
he or
don't
she.
know. Interesting.
It just
So
shows that how
complicated.
It is all
there-
complicated. I
Yeah.
know.
It's like
I know.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
gray area, clearly.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, Elijah, what would you tell what advice would you give other adoptees or even like adopted parents or birth parents? Like after everything you've gone through.
Would you be an advocate for adoption?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, yeah, we'll see if I'm ever a parent myself, but I mean, even me, I could see myself adopting. I mean, that's always, I don't know, kind of been in the back of my mind, an idea. But yeah, no, 100%.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And any advice?
No pressure.
We're all like staring, at you.
Yeah.
Hanging on your every word.
Oh, take your time. It's a loaded question.
What about for
advice?
families?
Advice is the advice that I would have for anybody who's an adoptee is that just know that no one's ever going to have the perfect advice for you. No one ever will.
That's some perfect advice.
Your situation is yours. Like your adoptive, like your situation as an adoptee is yours. Just like how everyone's life is different, your situation as an adoptee is different than everyone else who is around you. And so it's ultimately it's your journey, and that journey is going to feel lonely sometimes. And just know that you're not alone in the fact that you feel alone, I guess. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's probably what I would say right now.
That's really good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm just taking notes over here. Don't mind me.
Thanks.
No.
Because I'm like, okay, yeah.
Well, because it's true. Yes. It's the journey is individualized. Everyone's adoption is true to just them.
Yeah.
So, and everyone has a different story to tell.
Yeah. Just breathe and
breathe.
Do your best.
Count to 10.
Yeah, exactly. And try and heed your highest self when it comes to navigating it.
Yeah. Very good advice.
I worry about my birth son all the time because he has 4 full siblings that live with us, and he'll come and he'll stay the night and he'll hang out with us, and he asks me all these questions, which, I was waiting for that day. Like I was so excited for that day, and now that it's here and he's asking me all these questions, I'm like, oh shit, I was not prepared for that.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm honest with him. I'm like, honestly, Colin, can I take a second? Like, can I just think about that? Because I want to make sure I'm giving you. Like he asked me, did you name me? Like, did you have a name before
What was the name you picked
I was
out?
born? And I was like, honestly, no. Like all I wanted was for your parents to feel like, they had control over that part of the adoption, because they don't have a lot of control over anything at that point. And I wanted that for them. And I just said, I wanted your middle name to be with a J because my middle name's Jessica.
It is?
Yeah. I told you we're tied together in so many ways. It's insane.
That's so weird.
But and his middle name is just Jay. So, and his adopted dad is Jeremy. So me and him, we have that little connection with him.
Very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I hope you know that you are loved. Like I want you to feel that because you are.
Thank you. Thank you. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm getting better at allowing myself to feel that too. So
that's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard
to accept love.
Right.
Yeah.
We're also hard on ourselves.
Right.
And,
exactly. Yeah.
And I think you and I are similar in that way where, we overthink a lot and we think deeply about things. And so for me, I think it also comes with being like intelligent too, because you can see all different perspectives. And, because we think so deeply, we take in every scenario and everyone's feelings and everything that's going on, that it's hard to sometimes like think about yourself and give yourself grace and to know that you're loved.
Right.
So that's something that I'm learning as I age gracefully.
Yeah. I'm still learning that one.
Well, I mean, taking this new job is, I'm going to get emotional. It's really hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave this part of my life.
It's hard for me too. But I'm not crying.
No, we're not doing that today.
I'm not going to look at you.
This isn't.
I'm looking away.
I'm actually
You're really not going to cry.
I'm actually not going to cry.
He's like, I'm good. I won't be crying.
No,
here.
I appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
And
Thank
sharing
you
your
for
story.
having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
Good.
Awesome. I've loved this.
Good.
And it's been good to hear your story more as well. Anyway, sad I couldn't hear more, but hey, maybe next time.
You can. It's on a podcast.
Oh yeah,
It is on a podcast.
Yeah, I'll tune
Corny
in.
as hell, though.
I'll tune in.
It is. In fact, can I steal an hour for me and Ryan to come back and do it again?
Totally.
And we're just going to erase that.
We totally, and we can interview you guys. You could do it together.
Yeah.
Or separate.
Or
whatever
we can
you
just
want.
not have Ryan come and I'll just
Yes, it's good. Whatever you want to do.
I always talk so much shit about Ryan on this podcast. I really do love you, Ryan. I really
So maybe he should come on and be like, okay.
But that's the thing, right? Is like growing up, especially when you get pregnant at 18, you just keep having kids every 2 years for 11, 12 years. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, who am I as a person? Like I've been everything for everyone else in my life.
Man, yeah, it's got to be odd.
It is. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I mean, even in high school, I had no idea. Like my story was like, I moved in with my grandparents because my parents moved to Korea. So I had no foundation. I was just doing whatever the hell I wanted. And then I get pregnant. And then it's like, boom. And all of a sudden, here I am. I'll be 32 in 2 weeks. And I'm like, who am I as a person?
Oh my gosh, you're such a baby though. 32.
So old.
So okay, so I had that same problem, but I was older than you. Because when my kids started to graduate and stuff, and they no longer truly need you every second.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm like,
gonna be
and
weird
that
for me
was
too.
that was my whole world because that's what I wanted to be was a mom.
Yeah.
And now you're like, okay, so that's done. Now what am I doing?
No.
Who am I? What?
Well, and that's the greatest thing about life.
Strange.
So many different stages, and you just have to take one day at a time. I think that
you'll be great at your new job.
Oh, thanks.
That's why they stole you. I know.
We'll see.
That's my thing, and I'm sticking to it. They stole her.
I really appreciate you saying that. You're sweet. All right. Well, thanks, Elijah.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.